So the video you just watched was shot on a smartphone, and you've probably guessed that already since we are smartphone filmmaking pro. But isn't it crazy what you can produce with a phone these days? So this week I got 2 packages with different gimbals from different companies, and the original plan was to just make a quick unboxing for Instagram with a top-down angle and just some jump cuts. Usually unboxings like these work amazingly well on Instagram, so I thought, well, that's what I am going to do. But then my friend and my business partner Alex came along and we had 2 extra hours. So we thought, well, let's just do a proper unboxing, an epic unboxing. And by the way, if you want to see more content about those more affordable gimbals and also more content about the gimbal that you just saw in this video, well, make sure to subscribe to this channel because more content on those gimbals will come very soon. And I know a lot of people are very curious about what gear I was using for this shoot. So the gear I was using was the iPhone 12 Pro. The key light is the Aperture 120D with a softbox and a grid on it. And for 2 shots I was also using a gimbal, which in this case was the DJI OM4. And since I wanted it to be a more epic and a more filmic look, I was also using the Alansi anamorphic lens. So I will now just go clip by clip through the video and give you some insights on why I did what I did. So for the opening shot, I wanted to have an extreme contrast between the foreground and the background. And I wanted the background to be as dark as possible. So I wanted him to come out kind of like out of the dark and then pick the box and raise it up. So to get this, I used, as I said, the Aperture 120D with the softbox and the grid, and I placed it pretty high and pointed it down directly onto the table. I did not have a C-stand or something like this to be able to put it directly over the table, but with a normal light stand it worked out just fine. And with the grid I could also focus the light on the table so that I barely got any spills on the back wall. And I also turned up the light very bright, I think it even was at a 100%, but this then gave me more contrast to the dark background. And then I just had to put my phone on the gimbal, do a slow push in, and that's it. Unfortunately, Filmic Pro at the moment won't let you record with the Dolby Vision HDR at 60 frames per second. And that's why I shot all the shots, or almost all the shots, at 30 frames per second and slowed them down to 24. And at the end of the first shot, I was whipping the camera to the top to get those smooth, seamless transitions. And I also started the next shot with the exact same movement, and that's how you get this transition. And from this point on, all the next shots, I just shot them handheld. I was just using my phone like this and I was not using a rig whatsoever. So I was whipping the camera up, and then I was following his movement with his knife, and I ended this clip by whipping the camera to the left. And you will see those whip pans very often throughout videos like these, because that's basically how you get those seamless, smooth transitions that everybody seems to love. The following shot where he is ripping off the plastic also started with a whip pan to follow the same motion as the last clip ended with. And this time the clip is ending with me panning down until the lens is completely covered. So I was just going back and then I covered the lens. And the following shot started with me putting the phone directly onto the box, which also made it completely black. And in the end, this is what made this transition seamless. And then I just slided my hand with my phone over the table, and this is actually a very good way of keeping your shot stable. Don't try to free hold it like this and then pull it back. I can guarantee you it won't be anywhere near as stable. Just place it on the table, slide slowly back, and you will get some very smooth footage. We could of course also have used a slider or a gimbal for this shot to make it even more smooth, but I prefer to just go handheld for most of the shots because I'm just more flexible and I'm quicker overall. And the next shot is kind of like a POV shot, which replicates what the talent is seeing. Basically, I just put the camera over the box and he was lifting the lid one more time. And in the editing, it was important to cut at the exact same point to make the edit flow. And by the way, if you want to see a full editing breakdown of this video, we do have one inside of the full Smartphone Filmmaking Pro course. As you probably have already noticed, the filming part of a video like this is not that difficult. You will need to practice this, but overall it's no rocket science. The editing part neither, but you need to know a few tricks here and there to make it look as good as it does. And at the moment we have over 50 videos and over 5 hours of super high valuable content inside the course. We cover everything from the filmmaking and technical basics to some creative techniques to make your videos look more cinematic, all the way to my entire editing workflow on Premiere Pro on a computer and also directly on your smartphone. And if you want to learn more about that, just make sure to watch my free 45-minute webinar. Link is just below that like button. So in the top-down shot, he takes the paperwork out of the box and then throws it away with a spin. And I wanted to use this spin and kind of like follow the spin motion with my phone. So it was cutting down, and at 0 he was throwing it away, and I tried to follow the movement. This took us a few tries, but actually everything worked out surprisingly quickly. And as you already know, the next shot started with the same movement and ended with a whip pan. And the last shot of this edit is just again a push-in shot to the final setup gimbal with a gimbal, if that makes any sense. So when shooting videos like these, it is good if you plan ahead. The better you plan ahead, the easier the shooting process will be. And since this was a super spontaneous idea, I had no plan, I had no shot list whatsoever. But I also do have quite some experience. I've done those videos a ton. But when you are just starting out, I would recommend that you definitely should plan ahead. And another tip I have for you is to stay patient when shooting. Especially if you have some more like difficult movements in the scene, it might take you a few takes until you finally get it right. So again, if you want to see the entire editing breakdown and also the sound design of this video, which is super important for videos like this, make sure to check out smartphonefilmmakingpro.com. But that's basically it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. And as always, if you guys have any further questions, please let me know.